What's up, guys? Camera's moving weird. Today's video is going to be a new series slash not a new series. So you guys remember when I read my first ever story I wrote on Wattpad? Well, this time I'm reading my fan fictions from high school that I wrote on Wattpad. So let's get it. Let's embarrass myself. I'm gonna read the first 2 chapters. So we're gonna get on with that. Let's go.
Yawn at the bean. Welcome back to the channel.
So today's fan fiction I will be reading that I wrote. I think I wrote it back in 2015, 2014. Maybe 2015, because 2014 is when I wrote my first story on Wattpad, which was not a fan fiction. But this is like around my K-pop beginning phase. So, yeah. This one I'm reading is The Things I Couldn't Say. I was gonna say could not. I don't know why. But the things I couldn't say. Let's get it. It's a Jimin and Jungkook fan fiction, BTS. So let's read the synopses. So it's Haerin was Jimin and Jungkook's childhood friend from Busan. She's had a crush on Jimin since they were really young. After a few years of not seeing each other, Jimin and Jungkook comes back to Busan to visit. Haerin finally has a chance to say all the things she couldn't say before. Will she blow it and only be seen as just a friend to him? Or will she win Jimin's heart? So yeah, just a corny cliche friends to lovers kind of storyline. Jungkook becomes important later, I think. But yeah. But without further ado, let's just start reading. Chapter 1 is titled The Things I Couldn't Say, and as we have a picture of this actress, I forgot her name at the moment. I'll probably put it up here when I remember. When I'm editing, editor me, do that. But she is pretty much the face of Haerin. At least that's what I was trying to go for. So yeah, we have her right there from Weightlifting Fairy. And let's get on with it. I don't know why I'm taking this long. Let's just get on with it. Okay. I was woken up by a phone ringing loudly, and I sat up in bed. It was a phone call from my older sister. So, what do you want? I asked. Haerin, I have great news, she said excitingly. I sighed and checked the time. It was 12 in the afternoon. I had overslept. See, this is when I wrote stuff in past tense. I can't write in past tense anymore. It's like I forgot how. Anyway. What's the great news? I said, going to get something to drink. Jimin and Jungkook are coming back to Busan. I couldn't believe what she was saying at first. You're saying that Jimin, my childhood best friend, is coming back to Busan. That's what I said, and don't forget about Jungkook. Didn't you have a huge crush on Jimin? I was surprised. I was so surprised I hung up on Sue. Jimin was coming back? My childhood friend that I had a crush on since junior high school? I wouldn't even call it a crush anymore, but I don't know if I could call it love either. Jungkook was the same age as me, and he was a good friend. Jungkook has always been aware of my feelings for Jimin, and I made him swear not to tell him. Then 3 years ago, Jungkook and Jimin debuted? You see that? This is debuted. Anyway, debuted for a K-pop group in Seoul. There were 5 other members too. I was glad their talents were being recognized. I had planned to tell Jimin my feelings before he left, but it all went downhill. Flashback! On the way to the train station, Jimin, Jungkook, and I were completely silent. I couldn't imagine them being away for so long. We made it to the station, and they announced that the train to Seoul would be leaving in 5 minutes. Jungkook was the first one to hug me. Hey Rin, are you gonna tell him? Jungkook asked. I'll try, but I'm not sure I can, I said, pulling away from the hug. Make sure you stay healthy and call me at least once a month. Jungkook nodded and picked up his bags. He gave me one last wave and entered the train. Jimin and I were alone. Jimin smiled and hugged me tightly. My heart throbbed as I hugged him back. It felt so good to be in his arms this way. I just wanted to be like this forever. This is like embarrassing to read. I'm embarrassed. Anyway. Take good care of yourself while I'm gone, Jimin said, still hugging me. Shouldn't I be saying that? I said with a giggle. I suddenly remembered there was something important I had to tell him. I pulled away from the hug and squished his cheeks. Why? Why would you do that when you're trying to tell him something important? Why would you squish cheeks? Stop being weird. I have something really important to tell you. I took a deep breath, preparing myself for my confession. Before I could speak, the train made a loud sound. It was announced that the train would be leaving in the next minute. My plans were ruined. Jimin smiled at me and took my hand. Just call me later, he says, grabbing his bags. I nodded, and he got into the train. He sat by the window and waved at me as the train rolled off. When the train was long gone, I walked home with a heavy heart. When I called Jimin, I didn't tell him my feelings and listened to how his day went. Oh, that's so sad. This is kind of how one of my books that I'm writing starts. I mean, this book that I'm writing is based off of this fan fiction because I really like the title so much. Fun facts. But that book, I'm not going to start working on yet because I'm working on my series. But that is not what this video is about. So, I'm going to go back to reading because we have more to read. This is actually kind of a longer chapter than the ones that in my old story, so interesting. It was later in the day and I was going to the station. I couldn't help but wonder what they would look like now. I have watched their concerts and music videos. I've also been to a few concerts, but I haven't seen them up close in a while. Jimin and I usually text a lot, and Jungkook calls me now and then. I was finally going to be able to spend time with them. And even tell Jimin my feelings after so long. Girl, the fact that you still have these feelings. Maybe he felt the same way. If he didn't, what would I do then? I didn't know at all, but it was time for me to take chances. I made it to the station and waited for the train to arrive. When it arrived, a crowd of people came out. I tried looking for them, but it was crowded. I looked around one last time and saw Jungkook. He looked older and taller, also a little more mature. I ran up to him and gave him the biggest hug ever. Hey, Ren. Why Jungkook not talk this high pitch? Hey, Ren, it's you. Jungkook said with a surprised look. You got so tall. What did they feed you? I said, backing up to take a look at him. Anyway, where's Jimin? Thirsty. He went to go get water. We should find him. I followed Jungkook to the plaza. As we were waiting for Jimin, Jungkook asked the most random question. Random? Do you still like him? My feelings didn't change at all since you two left, I answered bashfully. Jungkook sighed. He was probably fed up with me. I've been in love with the same guy since junior high and still haven't made a move now that we're adults. You have to tell him. If you don't, he'll end up with someone else and you'll still be stuck with those feelings. Oh, there's comments. Comments? I want to... The comments are on plot twist. Jungkook starts liking her. And then I said, just maybe. Oh no. Is that? Well, I know, but I'm not gonna say anything. Anyway, Jungkook was right. I had to muster up all my courage and tell him how I felt. It shouldn't be that hard, right? We finally found Jimin and he was just as surprised to see me as I was to see him. He really matured since last time I saw him. He was even more handsome, which made me speechless. Hey Rain, you look great, he said, giving me a hug. He was taller than me. Back before he left, we were the same height. Jimin was still short, but the fact that he was taller than me was surprising. Okay, not my character being tall and still calling him short. Like, sis, stop it. You're like 5'8". Ain't nobody short here. Did you get taller? I said jokingly. I won't be able to call you shorty anymore. You're the only shorty here. Jimin ruffled my hair jokingly. I can't read. Goodness. We should head home. Everyone's gonna want to see you, I said, leading them out of the station. We got into my car and I drove home. The whole ride, both of them were telling me what they did, where they went, and about the other members. I was so happy to hear Jungkook opens up to people a little more. They also won quite a few awards with their Wings album. Not the Wings album. Oh my god. I just dated. So we know this came out. I wrote this in like 2015 or 2016. 2016? Yeah, that's what it was. Anyway, where was I? We made it to my house and my sister's car was parked in front of it. When we entered the house, Suma gave them a big hug. And that's an ending section. And there's still more. There's still more. Oh my god. There's so much story. Anyway. Oh, there's another comment. Oh my god. Anyway, let me read it. Later, Jimin and I dropped Jungkook off at home. We decided to go to the old park we hung out in when we were kids. Dang, y'all just gonna hang out without Jungkook? That's disrespectful. Anyway, we were both on the swings watching the sunset. The mood was perfect for my confession. I was about to say something, but Jimin began to speak. I missed you a lot while I was away, he said, swinging a little. Do I gotta act it out? Yes. I was happy to hear that he missed me, but I wanted to hear that he was in love with me. Okay now. Jesus. It might have been too much to ask. You think? You think? It's actually something I've been wanting to tell you, I said. Before you say that, I can't read it without laughing. I just want you to know that I'm glad you're my friend. You're like a little sister to me, he said with a warm smile. Yeah, he really did just sisters on her. That ain't right. Yo. Anyway. Did he just say that I was like a sister to him? A little sister? I wasn't just friend zoned. I was sister zoned. I couldn't tell him how I felt now. He was definitely gonna turn me down. Oh, he was gonna definitely turn me down. I don't think that's the right way to phrase that. Weird. Anyway. Oh, I was just gonna tell you that I have a boyfriend now. I lied, biting my lip. Maybe, just maybe, he would get jealous. Oh my god, this is going where I think it's gonna go. Jimin looked surprised. Really? Who is it? His question caught me off guard. Actually, it's Jungkook. I knew she was gonna do it. Let's read the comment right there. Me, face small, everyone in the world. Yeah, sis just lied. That ain't right. Well, we're getting to the end, so let me hurry up. I'm getting slow. I quickly covered my mouth when I said that. Jungkook wasn't gonna be happy about this. Jungkook didn't say anything about dating you. That's because he wanted me to tell you. I was beginning to feel bad for lying, but it was too late now. It seemed like Jimin fell for it, but he didn't look at all jealous. It was dark out, and Jimin took me home. Standing by the front door, we both awkwardly looked at each other. I'm not even pronouncing words anymore. I hope Jungkook is taking good care of you, Jimin said, breaking the silence. I nodded, and Jimin ruffled my hair like usual. He then turned to leave. A part of me wanted to grab his arm and stop him, but another part of me was afraid of what would happen. So I just watched him leave. The day ended with me not being able to say the things I couldn't say before. Now Jungkook was my boyfriend. I was unsure how tomorrow was gonna go, but I had hope I could explain everything to Jimin. Tomorrow was gonna be a great day. It's not her being optimistic after she just lied. What do you mean tomorrow's gonna be a great day? No, it's not. Sis is dumb. Sis is dumb. But that was chapter 1. 1 out of the 2 chapters I'm gonna read in this video. And so far, honestly, I think it's actually pretty decent for, you know, a fan fiction. I mean, it probably is trash. I think I'm just hyping myself up because I like my writing sometimes. But whatever. Don't be hating. Don't be hating. But I am going to take a quick break before we read chapter 2. Alrighty, guys. We're ready to read chapter 2. And chapter 2 is titled, If You Were Mine. And also we have a gif, whatever, of orange hair Jimin because he was... that was my favorite hair color on him besides black. Anyway, yeah, so we have that. So let's just get into reading because this is gonna be good. This is gonna be juicy. Let's go. Alrighty. That morning, I was at a breakfast cafe with Jungkook. I had explained to him about how I said we were dating, just as I predicted. Jungkook wasn't too happy. How could you tell a lie like that? Jungkook said with a frustrated sigh. He said I was like a sister to him. I panicked, and that just came out. I said, running my hand through my hair. I don't know. What was I doing? Anyway. Sima came into the cafe with a big smile on her face. I heard that you two were together, she said, sitting at the table with us. Where did you hear that from? I was even more upset that my sister was in my business. Sima smirked evilly. Okay, but why does she not like her that much? And then, like, why is she evil? I don't know the reasoning behind that, but that's weird. If you're with Jungkook, then does that mean I can ask Jimin out? She asked, waving her phone around. Jungkook and I looked at each other and then looked back at her. What was I gonna say? I was just learning that. Oh no, not the profanities. Suma was a B word. She knew clearly that I still had feelings for Jimin. Why did I spell that wrong? Feelings? Oh lord, it's like getting worse. No wonder I was editing to fix that. Actually, Jungkook and I aren't together, I explained. I'm still in love with Jimin. I just said something I didn't mean to say. Suma laughed. She must be amused by my stupidity. I always knew you would mess up like this. She sighed. I guess I should help you. I nodded, even though Suma was a B word. She was still my sister. If she gave me advice, it was valid advice and actually helped me out a bit. So why don't you like her? Anyway, okay, you have to continue to date Jungkook, she advised. How will that get him to notice me? If he really likes you, he'll get jealous seeing you two together, and maybe he'll tell you his feelings. Then you can explain everything. What? That's actually kind of stupid. Like, that's like really dumb. But it's a fan fiction, it's supposed to be really dumb. It's fine. Her idea seemed crazy, but great at the same time. I didn't like the idea of lying and using Jungkook though. Jungkook, would you be okay with this? I asked, touching his shoulder. If it'll help you, I'll gladly do it, he says without hesitation. He was just okay with it? Why though? Why? Suma clapped her hands together. That settles it. Now where do you think Jimin would be at this time? I knew exactly where he would be. Back in high school, Jimmy used to go to the dance studio in our neighborhood to practice. Oh my gosh, she knows everything about him. Lord. So Sima told me to go there and try to make Jimin as jealous as possible. Jungkook and I made our way to the dance studio. Jimin was doing exactly what I thought he would be doing. He was dancing. The one thing I knew he loved was dancing. Performing was what made him confident. I walked into the practice room with Jungkook. I see you're in the old practice room, I said with a big smile on my face. Jimin stopped dancing and smiled also. I couldn't explain how much I love to see that smile. Wanna join me? Jimin asked, holding out his hand and bowing like a prince. I giggled and took his hand. I was suddenly pulled close to him, and he put his hand around my waist. This was the perfect chance to make him jealous. All I had to do was look like I'm having more fun with Jungkook than him. When it was Jungkook's turn to dance with me, I tried to be as flirty as possible. Oh god, this is so bad. I put my arms around his neck and leaned close to him. I glanced at Jimin to see if he was getting jealous. But he didn't look jealous at all. Dang, he just don't like her. Oh my god, it's like literally not working. She going through the motions. Sis, it's not working. Give it up. Just tell the truth, you know? Later that day, Jungkook had to go home, and it was just Jimin and me again. We were sitting on a bench outside. So, how does Jungkook treat you? He asked, looking up at the clouds. Was that a jealous question? I was hoping that it was. What I wanted to do was tell him I was in love with him and kiss him. But he has to see me as a woman first. How do I do that was the question. This is like so dramatic. Is it because I wrote this when I was a teenager? I don't know. Or just like it's kind of weird. He treats me well, I said awkwardly. We both sat there silently for a moment. So, do you love him? Ew, why would you ask that? It's weird. His sudden question caught me off guard. What would I say? Oh, look at the time. I changed the subject. I'll see you tomorrow. I quickly stood up and ran off before he could say anything else. As I ran off to my car, I put my hand over my chest and sighed. How do you put like that? Like that? I don't know. Or like that. Oh, see, I'm thinking too hard. Stupid. That was an awkward question. I got into my car and drove home. When I got home, Jungkook was waiting for me. Oh my god, what is he doing? I thought you went home. Why did you come here? I asked, opening my front door. I wanted to make sure you made it home safe, Jungkook said shyly. Shyly? I appreciated that he was worried about me. Since you're here, you can keep me company. No. What's gonna happen? Anyway, Jungkook and I walked into my house and went to my room. I sat on my bed and Jungkook sat at the desk next to my bed. I think this plan might be working, I said happily. Really? Did Jimin say something? Jungkook asked, leaning forward. I smirked. Jimin sounded totally jealous when he asked how Jungkook treats me. Girl, not her lying. Did he sound jealous? I doubt he did, for real. He asked if I was in love with me. Exactly what a jealous person would ask, right? Jungkook nodded. But what did you tell him? I didn't say anything. There was no way I could answer that without telling him my feelings. Then why didn't you just answer it then? Like, girl, you could have just told him the truth and everything would be solved. But no, she wants to be extra. Just stupid fanfic characters. Jungkook sighed. He was probably upset that I had to lie to Jimin, but it wouldn't be long. I just had to be sure Jimin felt the same way for me as I felt for him. Once I was sure, Jungkook won't have to deal with me anymore and we can go back to being friends. Jungkook, you've been a great friend through all this, you know? And we literally just started. This is like the first day. Through all of this, through like one day. Ciao. You could have said no when I asked you to help me, but you didn't, I said, smiling at him. Anyways, when this is all over, I'll help you find a girlfriend. What kind of girls do you like? Sis. I can't answer that, Jungkook replied. His response confused me. Why not? I already have feelings for someone. Now I was curious. Who could this person be? Was she pretty? Who is it? Does she live in Busan? I asked. It's not important. She likes someone else anyways. Bruh, it's about to be her. Quit playing. Come on. I'm sure if she gets to know you, she'll like you more than that other guy. I said, ruffling his hair. Jungkook didn't say anything else and just smiled lightly. No, see, it definitely is gonna be that Jungkook has feelings for her, for Haven, because obviously, why wouldn't he tell her? Because he likes her. That's why he won't tell her. The next day, Jimin and Jungkook and I were hanging out at a cafe. Sadly, Suma decided to join us. Sadly? Oh my god. I was worried Suma was gonna do something annoying or make me do something. While we were eating, Suma continued to ask questions about my relationship with Jungkook. Maybe it was to make Jimin jealous, or maybe it was to irritate me. So, have you two kissed yet? She asked with an evil smirk on her face. All of us looked at her with surprised looks on our faces. How could she ask something like that in front of Jimin? She was taking this plan too far. That's something you should know. That's something you should know, Suma, I said with a sarcastic smile. Really? I want proof you and Jungkook are together. I want you to kiss right now. They always have that in the fake dating thing, like, prove that you're dating. And it's like, okay. Like, bruh, no. Being weird. Everyone in the cafe heard what Suma said and looked over at us. Oh my god. They started cheering us on, chanting kiss, kiss, kiss at us. Suma wasn't helping. I gave Jungkook an apologetic look and moved closer to him. I took a breath and kissed his lips lightly. My heart was pounding. Maybe it was because it was my first kiss? Not one of those characters. Anyway. I quickly pulled away from the kiss, and we couldn't look at each other. I couldn't even look at each other. Suma clapped her hands together. You two are so cute, right, Jimin? Suma said. Ooh, there's a comment on that. Let's check. Really? No, honestly though. At that moment, I wanted to push Suma down a flight of stairs and set her on fire. Oh my god. I'm scared. That thought may have been too graphic, but that's what I thought. I was forced to kiss Jungkook. Now my first kiss is gone. I was saving it for Jimin and I ended up kissing Jungkook. How did my plans get so mixed up? Alright, there's a lot to unpack there. But that is the end of, and that's all I'm reading today because these chapters are actually kind of long. So I'm gonna do 2 chapters at a time until I finish this book, so. Yeah, let's get it. That's great. Maybe one of these days I read a whole fanfic. Because all of them are like really short. I can do like a live stream. If you guys are interested in that, leave a comment or something. Maybe I can go live on TikTok or YouTube. See what happens. Well guys, thank you for watching this video. And I hope you guys like the series of me reading my own stories from when I was a kid / teenager. It's mildly embarrassing, but honestly, I embarrass myself on the internet all the time. So I'm used to it. But, you know, if you guys like this video and want to see more, press that like button and leave a comment about how you felt about the story. And I'm also going to link the story for you guys if you guys want to read it yourselves and, you know, read a crappy fan fiction from 2015, 2016. I'll leave it in the description box. But yeah, leave a like, leave a comment, you know, tell me how you guys felt. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace out.